All right, let's dive into a real AI stock showdown. We're looking at two really popular names in that mid-cap space, SoundHound AI and BigBear.ai. We're going to break down a recent analysis to see which one of these two could actually pull ahead.
Okay, so here's the mystery we're trying to solve. Last year, one of these stocks just took off, soaring over 50%. The other, it sank by more than a third. So the big question is, which one is the real winner for 2026? Because as you know, the market's first impression, well, it doesn't always tell you the full story.
And here are those numbers in black and white. You can see BigBear.ai had an incredible year, up 53%. At the same time, SoundHound AI got hit hard, down 37%. Now, just looking at this, you'd think it's a no-brainer, right? But the story underneath is way more interesting.
So let's kick things off with the underdog here, SoundHound AI. Because despite that pretty rough stock chart, the whole argument is that this company is actually an operational powerhouse.
And this is the absolute key to the whole thing. While investors were selling off the stock, the business itself was firing on all cylinders. It's like the company's performance and the stock's performance were telling two completely different stories. So, what does better performance actually look like? Well, just look at this contrast. It is night and day. In Q3, SoundHound's revenue shot up by a massive 68% compared to the year before, and BigBear.ai, its revenue actually shrunk by 20%. I mean, that is a gigantic gap in how these businesses are actually doing. And that story just keeps going when you look at gross margins, which is, a really critical measure of a company's health. A higher margin means you're keeping more money from every single sale. And look at this. SoundHound's margin is nearly double BigBear.ai's. Plus, it's not just higher, it's getting better, which is exactly the trend you want to see. So, where is all this growth coming from? A huge piece of SoundHound's future is tied to this idea of agentic AI. Now, don't just think of chatbots. Think bigger. Think of AI as virtual employees that can actually understand what you're trying to do, and then go and do it for you, all on their own. This market is potentially massive.
And here's their game plan. They were already a big name in voice AI for cars and restaurants. Then they went out and bought Amelia, a top player in these virtual agents. So now they're mashing these two technologies together to go after enormous new markets like healthcare and finance. And it's all going to be powered by their brand new Amelia 7 platform. This whole strategy is the bull case for SoundHound in a nutshell.
Okay, now let's flip the coin and look at the challenger, BigBear.ai. If SoundHound's story is all about its quiet, underlying strength, BigBear's story is about a massive, game-changing transformation.
And the key to understanding everything about BigBear.ai right now, its recent stock run, its future potential, it all comes down to one single move, buying a platform called Ask Sage. And this wasn't just another purchase. This was a strategic pivot meant to completely change what the company is.
So to get why this is such a big deal, you have to know what they used to be. Historically, BigBear.ai was basically a government contractor, an analytics integrator. This means putting people on site for projects, which is exactly why their gross margins were so much lower. It's just not that scalable high-margin software model. But this company they bought, Ask Sage, has a secret weapon. It has something called FedRAMP High accreditation. You can think of this as the Fort Knox of government security certifications. It basically means the platform is trusted to handle the absolute most sensitive, confidential data the nation has, and that creates an unbelievably high wall for any competitors to climb. And here is the absolute killer detail. Ask Sage isn't just one of the platforms with this certification. It is the only generative AI platform that can work with all different kinds of AI models. That's the model agnostic part, and has that top-tier FedRAMP High security. This gives it a ridiculously powerful, defensible moat in the super lucrative government tech space.
So, is the strategy actually working? Well, the numbers kind of speak for themselves here. In just 1 year, Ask Sage's annual recurring revenue has exploded sixfold. I mean, that is just rocket ship growth, and it's exactly the kind of thing investors wanted to see. It really helps explain that 53% jump in the stock price.
Now, what about what you're paying for all this? Let's talk valuation. If we look at the forward price-to-sales ratio, which just compares the stock price to expected future revenue, BigBear.ai is actually cheaper. It's trading around 15 times its sales estimates, while SoundHound is up at 20 times. So even after that huge run-up, the market still thinks it's the less expensive stock, relatively speaking.
All right, we've laid out the case for both companies. You've got the operational powerhouse on one side and the transformative challenger on the other.
So, where does the analysis land? Who wins in 2026?
But first, a really important dose of reality here. The analyst is super clear about this. Both of these are speculative stocks. There are absolutely no guarantees. We're talking high-risk, high-reward plays in an industry that is moving at lightning speed.
So here it is, the final tale of the tape. For SoundHound, you have that proven, powerful revenue growth and much better margins, all driven by this massive push into agentic AI. For BigBear.ai, you have a game-changing acquisition, a lockdown government niche, and a cheaper price tag. It's really that classic battle, proven performance versus incredible strategic potential.
And the final verdict, according to this analysis, is in. The prediction is that SoundHound AI is actually going to be the better performing stock in 2026, making a comeback from its rough year. So, why SoundHound? Well, it really comes down to this. The total potential market for that agentic AI across every industry is just seen as being way bigger than BigBear's specific government niche. Plus, its unique focus on voice could be a huge advantage in a crowded field. The feeling is that SoundHound is really just scratching the surface of what it could become.
Which really leaves us with one final big question. This whole showdown boils down to something fundamental for anyone investing in AI right now. Do you put your money on the company that's already performing incredibly well operationally like SoundHound, or do you bet on the one with a bold, transformative new strategy that's just starting to prove itself, like BigBear.ai? Definitely something to think about.